Hey everybody, this is Blue. How are you doing? I hope everybody's doing good because we're still in that little pandemic thing. I'm sorry that I haven't been doing a lot of videos lately, but this is an extremely busy time of the year for me. It's yard work time. I have gardens that I need to plant, yard that I need to rearrange, redecorate. Um, it's still been working pretty hard. And I just got a lot of stuff going on and I have to keep my priorities straight. And so I had to give up on making some videos, although I really want to make a couple of them. But I want to show you all also what I've been doing, Hey, this is what's been keeping me busy. So here is my yard. Well, the newest thing to my yard is the goddess garden. I have a 5 foot by 5 foot garden right here. There we go. And obviously we see the garden angel in it. Inside the garden there are irises. You can see a couple right now that are going to have purple flowers, and then it's daylilies, which will have some orange flowers. For me, I had a routine where every year I was painting an angel and placing it in the garden, and I would have a good harvest. I didn't do it last year. Last year was a bad year for me, and I also had a bad garden. So because I want to have a good garden, I did some rearranging, and I have a small flower garden devoted to the goddess. And so I'm pretty happy about that. And now we get to walk up to my peonies. The other cool thing about the goddess with its position, when I'm in my computer studio, I can look out my window and see my goddess. So I'm pretty happy about that. These are my peonies. Oh, they are just getting ready to bloom. Aren't they beautiful? I've always had peonies in my life. When I was a kid at home, and my dad had a lot of peonies and I just loved them. I dug some up, transplanted them here and there and all that. I just love peonies. All these are going to be red, except for I think it's this plant right here, which should have some whites in it. But I've always loved peonies, and so I have this large cluster of peonies, and I'm hoping to make it even bigger. Okay. Rhubarb. Love rhubarb. Love rhubarb wine. So I always have these two plants of rhubarb, and they've been doing pretty good, and it looks like I'm going to have a good harvest this year. We finally have gotten some routine rain, so everything's going great. And okay, you can see now my goddess garden from another part of the yard. And then the new part is I took out what was a trellis garden. I set down some pavers and I put my picnic table in there so that I have a place to be now this spring and summer, and it's right next to my garden. And here is my raised garden beds. You've seen them earlier in a video. Well, now I got everything in them. So I should go through that. Right there, I have pepper plants, and then a little bit down I have beans planted, but those beans haven't come up yet. In this front garden, in the two tomato cages, I got cherry tomatoes, but I also have, that should be broccoli, no, that's Savoy cabbage, and then some cucumbers. And this is a garden where only one thing is starting to come up. You can see that faint line of green right there. That is, I don't even remember, but I got all these little red lines evenly spaced so that I can line things up. So it's worked out pretty good this year. Because you can see this part right here. This is my root garden. I have rutabagas, beets, carrots, radishes, and onions planted in here, and you can see the green lines where stuff is coming up. I get to weed that tomorrow and thin out some of those lines because the radishes are definitely too thick. But I'm happy about that. Oh, if you're wondering about the standing fence lines there, I do climbing beans and I have a climbing spinach, but none of them have came up yet. Still early in the year and we've had some cold weather. And this garden right here are my 4 zucchini plants. My better half loves zucchini, so I have to make sure I have plenty of zucchini planted. Then the fence that you see on what will be the western side, that is a raised bed for snap peas. We do a lot of stir fries and all that, and if we can, add stuff from our garden, it's even better. And so those are snap peas to add to stir fries. And the almost final bed. The 4 tomato cages are bigger tomatoes. I got 2 beefsteak and 2 Romas. And then I have broccoli and Brussels sprouts planted there. So as you can tell, I'm going to have a lot of vegetables and I'm pretty happy about it. Everything's looking good now. The Goddess Garden, the daylilies I got came from that bare spot. Now I got that seeded and hopefully that will turn out good. And the bushes that you see there, those are actually blackberry bushes. I got a cherry tree that was getting pretty old and it was starting to decay. It was removed and now I gotta unfortunately burn that out. That big monstrosity is actually a double rose bush. It puts out a lot of small but very fragrant roses. I love it. And then I got 2 smaller herb beds. One has sage and purple basil, and the other one has thyme and borage. So, oops, thyme and borage is in there. So I'm trying to plant a lot. I have a lot of annuals, as you can tell by all the dang ferns. Hate ferns. But my better half loves them, so guess what? I plant ferns. Then those are hostas with white trimmed leaves. Yeah, sorry for the shaky camera. And this is my moonlight garden. A moon garden has purples, blues, and whites. So this is something that I planted this year. But it has Dusty Miller in it, which are these right here with the white tinged leaves. Oh shit, didn't see that squirrel. Lobelia, Colossus, that's a petunia, and I forget what that one is. And I always leave this tag in it so that I know. I have no idea. But anyway, that's a little mini garden that I have. This is just more hostas and all that around the garden. That's one of my better halves projects. This is going to be part of a bush line that we're creating. Then I got a retaining wall. And unfortunately what you're going to see is a mad mess because right over there is my other part of the retaining wall, but I'm in the midst of rearranging it and re-leveling it. But all the plants here, I've planted. I got some rosemary, some catnip, tarragon. I got plants I still got to plant because that's my flowering kale. that is a snapdragon that I got to get in today. And this wonderful plant, this pain in the butt plant, is actually called apple mint. It's a pain in the butt because it is an invasive plant. So it's got to go in its own pot because it can grow fast. So this is my yard. Beautiful. Now that we got some rain, nice and green. I have mowed it 3 times so far this year. So it's keeping me busy. I wanted just to share some of what I've been working on with everybody. So everybody, please take it easy, relax, try to get outside if you're out of lockdown, and breathe in the fresh air, because that's important. A little nature goes a long, long way. So everybody, please take care, be at peace.